here's the director of what is called the Sanctuary Foundation, Dr. Krish Kandiah. And Krish, yours is a charity that supports refugees and welcomes them into the country. Your job must be made more difficult with pronouncements, as we're going to hear today from the Home Secretary.
Definitely it will be. I was speaking at a seminar yesterday around refugee education, and we were hearing how children watching the news who have, these are kids that have come from Ukraine, are watching the news and feeling that they're not welcome in this country, that they're not wanted here. They're the kids that we opened our doors to, opened our homes to, but the news keeps telling them they're not welcome here, and it's the Home Secretary that's making that announcement to them each day.
Yeah, well, what would you say today? I mean, I could imagine this as a reality. There'll be people listening on radio and watching on TV today who will not welcome me interviewing you. It's almost as if, you know, people like you should disappear, not be there, that you would be an encouragement almost for people coming into the country. What would you say to those people?
Well, an unprecedented number of people in Britain open their homes to help Ukrainians. We are able to show hospitality to people that need it. I'm a foster parent. I lock my door every night because I must make sure the kids in my care are kept safe. But if there's a need for a child to have safe sanctuary, my door gets opened and the child comes in. I believe we're a nation full of compassion, and when we meet people like the Ukrainians who need our help, they can find safety and comfort in our homes.
How much of this is about the Home Secretary pushing or framing herself as a future Conservative Party leader?
I think it's a lot about that. This week she talked about 780 million people that might be coming to the UK. That was a fabricated number. She added up all the populations of every nation that had any issue with women's rights. That included Afghanistan. Now, we know in the world, most displaced people stay very close to the countries where they were born in. So, for example, Syrians mostly moved to Jordan. They didn't come to the UK. So there is no way that 780 million people are coming to Britain. It was a fabricated number to generate outrage and to bolster her bid to be party leader, I believe.
Yeah. When you get down to all of this, I mean, this is a speech obviously for the membership. What do you think amongst general society, the general populace, things about, you know, pulling out of the European Court of Human Rights, for instance? Do you think there's an appetite for that?
I think it's probably 50-50. I think some people have been listening to the rhetoric from the Home Secretary, that fear-mongering, and they're worried, they're blaming immigrants for the fact that they can't get a GP appointment or they're struggling to get housing. Actually, the reverse is true. Immigration is the reason we have a functioning NHS right now. But other people think, you know what, my human rights are too important to be trashed over a political debate, that actually we need someone to hold our government to account. The Human Rights Act was put into place after the Second World War, when the Nazis were killing Jewish people, and it gave rise to things like the Nuremberg trials, where a country could be held to account for how it treated its citizens. I think coming out of something like that is a huge overreaction to what is indeed actually a small problem. 40,000 people coming to the UK on a small boat. That is too many people coming on a small boat, but in the grand scheme of things, it's only 6% of net migration.
Doctor, there will, just as a final point, you know, a lot of people will think one person coming into the country is too much, and it's obviously not a popular manoeuvre. The government see that it's a vote winner if they can get the boats down, which they haven't been able to do so far. But your foundation, it's got a beautiful word attached to it. That beautiful word is sanctuary. I think sanctuary is a marvellous word. What does it in effect mean for those people who you look after or try to look after or welcome initially to these shores?
I remember opening our home for a party for November the 5th, bonfire night, and we invited some Ukrainian families to come round, and we'd warned them there would be some loud noises. And yet when the children came, as soon as they heard any explosion, any noise from the fireworks, they hid under the tables. They were absolutely terrified by what was going on because of the bombs that had dropped on Kyiv. They were absolutely shattered. But now these children are integrated in our schools. They're flourishing. They've got friends. My daughter was playing with a little Ukrainian girl the other day, and she was twirling around. I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "We're playing sisters." Sanctuary gives people the opportunity to rebuild their lives, rebuild friendships, to find love and compassion, and to have a new life again. And it's wonderful. I've seen so many people make that possible. People that have never worked with refugees before, opening their hearts and homes. It's an incredible privilege.
Dr. Krish Kandiah, privileged to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.